Okay, worst boss in the game check. All right, cool. So I've been trying to re-roll Crusader influenced body armors to try and get this mod so I can put on an anime guardian. I think it'll be good. Hopefully it is. Um, because of that, I've accidentally printed out a few of these enemies you kill have a chance to explode body armors. I don't know if they're really worth 2 divine, but I mean, if they are, this might be an elite hideout warrior strat. I don't know. I'm so confused. I got favor from a Katava and a Namahu guy, and I'm looking around, and these guys just aren't here. Like, who do I talk to spend this? Does anyone actually know why this boss is still in the game? Like, I feel like every single time a patch comes out, I'm like praying. I'm like, dude, this time they're gonna finally get rid of burial chambers, and they're gonna replace it with literally anything else. And then they replace like 9 maps that were just fine, you know? And then burial chambers is still in the game with this guaranteed soul eater boss. It actually just says, well, to elaborate, it's so stupid on league start, because like obviously if you have a bunch of DPS, like you kill her before she stacks anything up. But if you don't have a bunch of DPS, or if you're playing any sort of like build that, you know, has to like kill things to ramp up, or like has things that die, like I'm pretty sure my phantasms right now are feeding her soul eater stacks, and like that's just kind of dumb. Like, I don't know, it's just so punishing like the lower budget you are, and the higher budget you are, it's like LOL, like it's not even a factor. It's a strange design. They're designed to have it and then also keep it in the game, even though they've had to nerf soul eater on monsters and characters, like with that AG exploit thing that happened last week. Like, I don't know. Just sitting here while I do this and just thinking about the build right now. So as you can see, I still haven't switched to the real build, you know, still playing my soul rest starter. Because honestly, I'm kind of scared too. There's a lot of factors to that. It's the fact that I kind of got to respec my whole tree. So I'm going to need like a lot of gold or regret orbs. And I also got to respec my ascendancy. So that's a little bit annoying. I talked to Faustus earlier. You know, we're on a first name basis like that. He knows me. And it was like 1,000,000 gold to fully respec. So I don't know if I'm gonna say the whole million, but I'll definitely need some like 500k or so, just because I gotta connect this whole side of my tree to my build so that I can stack the endurance charges. Also, there's just like a lot of items that are part of the build that were ridiculously cheap in Mirage that are like not cheap right now for, I mean, good reason. Like they're from mechanics that people haven't done a ton of. Like if I just pause right now, Devourer of Mines is actually in a good place right now. It's 5 chaos, you know, that's fine. I'll deal with that. For some weird reason, I was looking this up earlier. Spine Hail is like weirdly okay. This was like 70 chaos earlier, so it went down a little bit ago. But yeah, it's like weirdly expensive, especially if you look for one. I haven't used this like feature that much, but I think yeah, stat filter, minions are aggressive. Yes, search. Okay, down to 50 chaos. That's good. That's good actually. I was looking earlier. This was like 2 div, and I'm like, who was paying 2 div? I looked on PoE Ninja to see if there was like a secret build that people were running that was like really crazy that used Spine Hail to some great effect, and there literally isn't. There's like 10 people, or maybe I think like 18 people that are playing with Spine Hail, and all of them have like 10k max hit. Like I just don't think it's like a like new like meta thing. I think maybe people just saw this mod and were like, oh, it must be really good, but like this quiver isn't used. The only reason I'm using it is just for the means are aggressive mod, but even then, like, there's other quivers that I could use. Like, I use, like, a rear guard or something. So, that's not a deal breaker, but it is just crazy that it's so expensive. Let me check. Is Annihilation support still expensive? Because there's a chance that it isn't anymore. Okay, 25. Yeah, this was, like, a div or something yesterday, or maybe, like, 70 chaos or something. So, I was mostly just, like, waiting for prices to go down and just, like, a select few things that will really help out the build, but like usually aren't that popular. I know resonating belts are really expensive right now. And I mean, that's because I do know about the fact that there is like the Daughter of Oshabi build that everyone's playing that, yeah, it does use like a resonating shrine belt, which makes them like, what is it, like 1 or 2 divines, which I mean, that's fine. I can put up with that. What else? Oh yeah, replica badge of the Brotherhood. Let's look at the price of that one. They're actually all gone. Wow. Okay. Now these are being used. I did look and see that there's like a shield crush build that uses the replica one. But yeah, it's like 2 div, or like I guess it's infinitely expensive because there's literally none of them. I gotta go find one myself in heist, which is why I'm preparing for it currently. I realized that this build was kind of falling off. I'm kind of getting like destroyed in like higher tier maps. Is like a T14 map, and I'm running into times where I'm literally like getting cooked by enemies with like life regen or stuff. Like I just don't have enough damage to even kill them. So that tells me that it's like, yeah, you gotta figure something else out. But I know when I first switch to zombies, like it's actually gonna be lower damage. So I've been trying to switch to mechanics that don't require a ton of DPS. I've been farming blight, which obviously requires a ton at the top end, but like right now it doesn't require that much because I can just have the towers do the work. And then I'm trying to farm a ton of heist stuff because I think I am going to become a bit of a heister, because I don't think the zombie build is really going to be that great until I invest like a few more divines into it and I have like some of those things like an imbued zombie and like things of that nature. But the weird thing that I'm noticing is that it seems like it might actually be cheaper to switch directly into the kind of higher budget energy shield version, which is like stronger and like stacks power charges instead, which is crazy. But like a regular badge of the Brotherhood is like 10 chaos. Malachi's loot. I don't know how much a Foulborn Malachi's loot costs, but I'm gonna assume that it's pretty cheap. Sort by Foulborn. Let me see. Yeah, this thing's 1 chaos. Yeah. And then I think the real thing that's holding it back from me starting that is the fact that I do believe that what is those pair of boots called? Ralakesh's Impatience. Oh my god, that's so bad. Ralakesh's Impatience is a divine. Okay, never mind. I literally saw like 8 divine, but this is for frenzy charges. Power charges, like 3 div. Okay, wait, I can actually afford one of these. Yeah, it might be cheaper to switch to this like energy shield, like power charge stacking version that has like its own interesting tech that I really want to dive into. I guess the real gap that needs to be closed is the fact that that build does in fact require using a what's it called? It does require having the duelist notable, the broken one that everyone's using. I'm blanking on the name. Master Perform, because you need it so that you can make your max endurance charges equal to your max frenzy charges, and then you use the regular badge of the Brotherhood to make your max frenzy charges equal to your maximum power charges, and then they're just all equal. And then you can just stack power charges because they'll just increase all of them out at the same time. So that's like the dream build, and I thought it'd be way higher budget, but it actually might be cheaper to switch to than like my crackpot like frenzy charge build, only because like the items are just cheaper. There's a lot of things that are in demand that I really didn't expect before going into this, but it might be better for everyone. The only thing that's gonna be weird is that I'll have to gamble with the duelist tattoos, and I think each one's a divine. I used one earlier and it was a divine, but I'm gonna assume that's similar. But let me look on PoE Ninja at this very moment and check. The bin tattoo of the duelist is 70 chaos, which I think is just kind of like close to a divine. Yeah. So, I mean, the thing is that, like, obviously, it isn't, like, super expensive. It's doable, but I will need an incredible amount of them in order to actually switch, because, like, there's a chance that I just get mad unlucky and, like, don't get it. So, it could take anywhere. Like, it should take, I believe, 24 tries, but, like, I don't tend to really have good luck, so it's probably going to take me closer to, like, 50, to be so honest. So, yeah, that'll be a big investment later on to think about. But those are the current plans. Surely the next clip ahead of this will be me with the build switch doing some, like, just doing straight bullshit with the build. I have no idea. Recording this right after that last kill, I got a little zealous. I don't know. I really wanted to spend some currency. I started gambling on duelist tattoos. Ended up getting more than skill, which is really funny and is also just really, really insane to get. but it's sadly like not what the build needs. But I don't want to roll over it. It's so insane. More than skill. I'm like 99 block on soul rest right now. Like that's crazy. But we'll sadly probably have to roll over it. Let's see if this is the one. That's not it. All right, cool. Some other things that I was thinking about that make me a little scared to respec. One, I did get a +1 frenzy charge bow. I just like re-rolled with some orbs of alternation until I found it. And it's really the only mod I need, you know? Like the +1 to socketed gems isn't really that insane. It's like a bit of DPS, but it's whatever. Just to start with. The issue is that I then thought about the fact that like basically every shaper bow right now has a dex requirement of like 130 plus. You know, it's really hard to find one that has a lower requirement than that. So in order to get kind of like a crude bow or something that has this on it, like I'd have to buy like a shaper exalt. And I'm probably not doing that, but like having such a high dex requirement is like really awful for the zombies build because basically, you know, like you need 4 off-color sockets and that's like miserable. There's another way to fix that, which is like those weapon orbs. I forgot what they're called from Heist, but even then it seems just like a waste of money to like throw those on here trying to roll like no green sockets. So it just seems like it'd just be way easier to just run like Malagaro's loop and Modest teaching, you know? Like there's that. I was trying to re-roll to get +1 max frenzy charge of some gloves in preparation, and then I realized that it's like incredibly rare. It's like 0. It's like a stupid weighting. It's like 0.08% or something. It's insane. And I mean, obviously, you know, this one isn't that bad. I could just use like some random corrupted, even like unique gloves that just have +1 max frenzy charge. Like that isn't the deal breaker, but it's just like one of the things that makes me not want to switch right away until I have way more money. So I'm in a Grand Heist right now. The build is online, but it is really scuffed. I mean, there's like a lot of things wrong. It was even worse when I first started because like, so the DPS went way down for taking out Soul Rest. As starting with the scuffed build, I mean, I've got this bow, and I realized that I think I mentioned this in a different clip, but it's really, really painful to try and get the minion levels on a bow, and then also having like a linked bow with the correct socket colors. So I was like, okay, so I'm probably not doing that. So the best other option is then socketing the minions to like any sort of unique armor that can roll like increased level of socketed minion skills. And I realized I was like, how OP is Restless Ward in this build? This thing is giving me like, what, 44 increased movement speed and like 800 life regen, and then increased, you know, all charge duration. This is kind of insane for the build right now. But even with this, I mean, raise zombie levels, it's only at 23. I have an empower in here. It's doing literally nothing currently, but eventually you get the extra levels, and they are so squishy. Like they still die to everything. I thought the 11 endurance charges would make them functionally immortal, and it doesn't. But also, endurance regeneration is kind of a problem right now because currently I have enduring composure for that. The problem is that like I have to get in a fight and then get hit to start generating those charges instead of just kind of like having them up preemptively. So, like sometimes fights will start and like a bunch of enemies will just attack right away, and my minions will just like get destroyed instantly. And it's the same with like I was using a perfect warlord before this, but the perfect warlord, the same issue was happening, where I mean he's just kind of inconsistent because I found out that because currently my charges last for like 28 seconds, but when he shares his charges with you, like he's generating them, and then he is getting the charges for 10 seconds, and then you're getting the charges for 10 seconds because it's just you have them when he has them. So you can't just like, I thought what would happen is that I put on Restless Ward and he would give me 28 seconds of endurance charges, and that's not what happens. So that's a little sad. The end goal, I believe, is to switch to like the cast inoculation version, and then have a version where you know, you have like the gain endurance charges every 10 seconds thing. But that thing, one is like exceptional Eldritch Ember only, I believe. So that's just kind of miserable to farm and then actually get the correct mod you want. And then also, you know, you lose some levels in your zombies, but also I'd gain some levels of zombies just by having like a minion wand here. So perhaps it'll balance out. I think the biggest issue with this build is just the fact that like, cause it's one of the few minion builds that uses like a weird helmet, or sorry, weird helmet. Yeah, the helmet's awesome. A weird amulet. It just doesn't get like those extra minion levels that you usually reserve for putting on an amulet slot. But the build's decent at heisting. I mean, that's all it can do. One of the issues I run into is the fact that my DPS is so low that I basically have to run content that is easy to run with no DPS, you know, but like kind of high defenses. So focusing on heist, focusing on blight as well, because you can have the towers do most of the work. And it's been going okay. I kind of haven't made any money with either of them. I think I got like 1 golden oil, but like that's it. And like I've been running even these like enchanted contracts or enchanted grand heists. Like they have what? This one has like currency only. And hold on, no, never mind. And even then, like the best thing I've seen out of any of these is like 10 chaos. Like I don't know what we're doing, man. 10 chaos? Sorry, I got 18 chaos from one of them. And that's the greatest thing I've seen so far. So, I don't know. I know heist is like a jackpot thing. Oh, tempering orb. Okay. Maybe I was wrong. Because that is worth something. But, yeah, Curse of the build, the only thing that I'm kind of like a little sad about is just the fact that because the DPS is so low in its current state, I can't really progress the Atlas. Like, these minions just at their current state cannot handle like T14 corrupted maps, and I can't imagine pushing them to T16 up into you know, like the pinnacle bosses. Like I just can't see them actually winning a pinnacle boss fight. I ran through these lasers earlier and like all of my zombies instantly died. One of them died earlier. One of them died earlier with 11 endurance charges. Like what is going on? I don't understand how they're so squishy. Like if I was playing a build with like no extra defenses for them and this was happening, then it would just be like, yeah, man, it's zombies are slamming, man. They don't have any defenses. But like these guys, they have them. They have 11 endurance charges. They have grace. They have determination. Like I don't know why they're getting pieced up by like rare mobs in maps that like aren't even that insane. But I'll figure it out. I think currently the best thing to do is to just try and make as much money as possible and then just throw it all into duelist tattoos so I can try and get the legendary masterful form, and then once I get masterful form, you know, I can just switch the E-shield setup and things should feel way better after that, just because like I'll be a bit tankier. It'll be a lot easier to stack power charges because there is a Foulborn Ramirez Banquet that has +1 max power charge on it, and I think it's like decently common. I think it's maybe like 20 or 30 chaos. So that's the next goal. But another one died just then. Oh my god, what are we doing, guys? What are we doing? And then obviously there's like a world where I need to invest in like Dread March renewal, like minion life jewels. Like maybe that's the only way to make them survive, because this is a bit crazy at the moment. What are these rewards? I guess I'll take this one. So, just messing around, I realized that the endurance charge generation stuff is way easier to solve than I thought. I forgot the Resonating Shrine belt gives you a chance to get charges on hit, which means that I could just run literally any spell and just like right click in enemies' directions, and like I'll just generate endurance charges. Like Enduring Composure is actually not even necessary really, because I can just do it myself. It does take up like a gem slot, but like it's so much better and so much more proactive. Eventually I'd want to switch to something like Void Sphere that actually is like helpful, but currently it's Blade Fall because I only have green sockets left. Oh, it's already looking grim. Alright. I just realized that the price of this tattoo has quadrupled because everybody is tapping into... I assume a lot of people are tapping into Minion Pack Blade Vortex now, and this is like huge for Minion Blade Vortex, so there is a chance that I try and stock up a ton of them and try and like flip it later, but I don't know. Alright, so here's the current state of the build. I think it's just in like an alright spot right now. It's probably around 1 million DPS. I don't think it's anything super impressive. One of the reasons that the build hasn't been progressing, at least the rate that I wanted, because I have spent probably around like 30 divines, just throwing it away at duelist tattoos, being like, "Ah, this time I'm gonna hit big, and then I can move on to like the power charge stacking variant." And that hasn't happened. So I think I'm actually gonna lock in and spend my money wisely on actually upgrading the build so that I can like beat T16 maps, because I mean this is a T16 map right now, and I just got blown up. Like, all right, man. So I just really want this. I'm trying to get the crafting recipe right now for +2 level to socket support gems, but obviously I'm getting dismantled by random mobs, so I don't know if that'll happen. But I mean, the build is online. I definitely feel like I need to stay at a lower level content. This is just a map that literally just has like what has to avoid and like monsters attacks impale and like max 12 all res, which is pretty bad. I'm pretty tanky though. The thing is that the minions aren't tanky. So what I've been doing actually is going through. I need to buy like way more of these, but I can kind of I realize that I get so much intelligence from my items. Like I think yeah, this gives like 50 intelligence, this gives like 20 intelligence, this gives 20 intelligence. Like I get so much free intelligence. I think this does too. Yeah. So I can just go and just tattoo every single node with means have increased max life. And these these tattoos are very cheap. And I think maybe it'll help with the survivability because I thought that, 11 endurance charges. I thought that every single minion, oh my god, and myself, I thought we'd be immortal. But obviously, as you can see from this gameplay, it's just not true. So, definitely way better direction that this build could go, like it could definitely be improved a lot. I really couldn't recommend playing it at a low budget. I'd say like my build currently costs somewhere between like 7 and 8 divines, and like I would not say that this is worth paying 7 or 8 divines for. I think that the power charge version is like super superior, at least Path of Building, I get like 20 million DPS, and I actually think that a lot of items are easier to get than the items that I use for the Phrecia charging version. However, it does require getting lucky with that duelist tattoo, and seeing as I think statistically, like to guarantee getting the node you want from a tattoo, it's like 50 tattoos, I think, right? Like 90% chance to get them in like 52 tries. Probably wouldn't do it. I think I'm going to try and just save up a ton of money and actually get the build in a nice spot and then just save up and just completely gamble like 50 tattoos at a time. Because like that way I'm like basically guaranteed, surely. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's current plans. Got my crafting recipe, so I'm happy. But this build is getting a bit cooked. Hopefully a little better for day, I don't know, whenever after this comes out, probably like day 4 or 5. It'll start feeling a little bit better. Actually, perhaps I'll be able to make money outside of T10 maps